Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Heyo! And today you're joined with me, just Daniel. So yeah, I thought I'd just do a random stream kind of a thing, you know. Well, this is my weekly stream that I do every week. But this week I've decided just to do it with myself and just to chat about a few things that have been going on with my channel, and you know, just it's my time to actually speak up a little bit. Because I've had quite a few videos with some awesome artists, which has been great just to chat with them, ask them questions, and yeah, find and look for good knowledge out there from great artists, and just to hear their stories and things. Well, it has been awesome just to learn from them. But yeah, every week's different, you know. I'm got a different artist in every week usually, or you know, I'm meeting new people along the way. Sometimes I get recommended artists from, you know, either a relative or a friend that they've got that, you know, are interested in it, or I meet them off another place like ArtStation or DeviantArt, or just really a big fan of them and I really want to talk to them, so I get a hold of them. Yeah, I've had some awesome artists in. I've had Adam Duff, had Travis J. Hansen, I have Devin Caddy Lee just the other week. So yeah, I've had a huge line of people out lately, which has been really cool. Yeah, and it's always interesting to try and find new people as well. There are some awesome ones that I sometimes have a bit more regular than others. You know, some of them I have that come on, you know, every couple of weeks or so, which is really awesome. But yeah, anyway, you can see me painting my page 8 at the moment. This is page 8. This is me just starting out page 8, which is really good, you know, that I'm that far into it, you know. It took me a while to get from where I started to where I am now, probably like 3-4 months to get to page 8. Which is a kind of a big achievement for me too, because I'm usually, you know, I wasn't so regular in posting my work, well, creating my work per se, you know. It was that there were so many other things going on, so I dropped a few things here and there, and then I pick it up a little bit later, and then it may be finished at the end of the month. Where now I'm constantly keeping up with these videos. I've got to do a video each 2 weeks. I mentioned that in quite a few videos, you know. I've got to keep up with at least doing one piece every 2 weeks. That's my minimum. Obviously, I like to go above the minimum, otherwise it gets a bit pressure along the way. It's nice to, you know, have some comfort room in there. You definitely, if you've got a schedule that's really tight, maybe think about making it more comfortable, so that if you know, say you've got a deadline in a week or two or something, try and get it at least like 90% done within, you know, the first week of that 2-week due date, you know, and that gives you a little bit of room in that last week just to, you know, hand it in early, or show your client if you want to get some feedback, or just to ponder on how to make it even better. You know, you may sometimes ideas don't exactly come at you, you know, when you want them. Sometimes it's like, oh, you create an idea and it's like, oh, then you think of a better idea maybe down the track, or you always think about, oh, that could have been better. But that gives you some comfort room to actually, you know, on the last week you don't have to stress out so much. You can just kind of edit it and fix it, so and the client's happy, because yeah, you're not so stressed trying to push it out. And you know, if you just go along your day and just with the 2 weeks, you know, if you don't be wise with your time per se, you know, you may hand in something that you're not too proud of. So yeah, it's always just think about time. Is a real big thing, especially with my life, because you know, my life's a bit hectic. There's the things going on in my life. There's jobs, changing jobs. I was on casual on call, whatever you want to call it, So they just ring me up, and they could be like either the day before or they on the day. So it's like I might plan a painting day or something, or might plan to actually do something on a Tuesday, and then they might call me up in the morning and be like, oh, we really need you to do this shift. So that can be hectic too, It's like, oh no, I'm actually planned this day to try and get ahead of my YouTube channel, and it's like, well, and then I've got to think about money versus time and things like that. But now I'll be moving into a bit more full-time work, so that will be interesting. I have done full-time work for like 6 weeks or something, and it was at a time that it was just before I decided that now I've got to do this full time. I've got to do this one video a week thing. I need to put more into it to order to get something out of it, because at the moment I'm just randomly maybe posting a video twice a month, and then it's like you don't hear from me for another couple of months or weeks or something, So it's kind of like not going anywhere, kind of a thing for me. That's the way I felt, I needed a bit more out of it. It's a fun, exciting thing that I like to do, so I definitely wanted to give more time to it, and it also has changed quite a few things, me doing this every week. I'm trying to find new artists every week to talk to, which is really interesting, and also keeping up with these artworks a bit more, because when I were back probably about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, somewhere between that period of time, probably about 7-8 probably about 5 months ago or something, actually. That was when I decided I wanted to do these weekly videos. But before then, I was just kind of, just going with the flow, post a video when I post a video, which was really nice, because I could just do it at my own pace, kind of a thing. But it didn't really have like the full intention of what I wanted to do. It wasn't really going anywhere. It's kind of that lazy thing as well. Oh, I don't feel like painting today. Oh, I don't feel like doing this today. It's excuses after excuses that it wasn't really pushing me or getting me anywhere. So that's why I decided, I really need to do these every week, and I did it for quite a while, and even throughout having full-time work from Monday to Friday pretty much, and it wasn't like just 8-hour days. There were some days that were like 12 hours, or there were some days that were like 10 hours, so I was getting home late. So pretty much mainly in those 6 weeks, I only had the 2 days a weekend, those weekends, to do, 1, my stream, and 2, my actual painting and creating these videos. So it's a bit hectic, it was a bit hectic, but it was a doable thing. I mean, I could come home, do some painting, deal with baby and all that other stuff that I've got to deal with as well. But I could also plan a schedule. Some weeks was planned, with some weeks of that work it was planned. It was like, oh, you'll be working Monday to Friday. With other weeks it was like, oh, you'll be working Monday, and then I'll get a text saying, oh, I'll be working Tuesday, and I couldn't really fully plan that week, but I kind of made a plan and a backup plan to it. But yeah, now that I've got we'll be moving into a more of a scheduled, where I'll be working from such and such a time, I'll be getting home at such a such time, or be sorting out tea, or just chillaxing, because it's really great. Me and my partner work out things, which is really awesome. She's really supportive with me, my art, and and I'm supportive with her and things like that. So we look after each other and things, and we got like this thing where we I'll cook one night, she cooks one night, so it's really good system. So one night I can come home and I can paint and look after Bubba and those things, and another night I'll actually be cooking, and then maybe I might be able to do some painting if I'm lucky. I may have to wait until baby's asleep and then do some painting just before I go to bed. But usually what I did, because I know that I'm working at 9 a.m. now, and I know I'll be finishing at such time, probably 6 p.m. So I can work my schedule, whether I decide that I want to work at night, because that's what I did when I was at working with a company. I would work a little bit at night. I would stay up till like 10 o'clock, and then I would wake up at 7 or 8 o'clock, and if I'm lucky, Bubba might still be asleep, so usually then I might be able to do like half an hour of painting, and then I'll have to feed Bubba and go to work and stuff. So I get like a half hour, an hour to do work, usually before work. But now that she's probably waking up a little bit earlier and stuff, it might be easier just to go to bed a bit later, like 11 or 12 or something, and then get some more work done at night rather than daytime while she's up. Kind of a thing. So there's always those schedules, and I do talk about them in some of my videos, those schedules that I do all the time, which is something is really great to do. I've had a few talks with a few people. Some of them have had a couple of kids, some of them have got younger kids, it's definitely something I can give my perspective on, because I'm a growing artist with a child, and obviously a full-time job as well. So I've got quite a bit going on, where some of you that are watching this, or some people that may see this or hear me talk about things, they might have a less scheduled life, so they might be able to actually take what I'm saying and use it even better. It's like what Bobby Chia is trying to do, or trying to learn. He's trying to learn about these people that have crazy schedules and things, how they deal with having kids and a wife, and quite a bit of a life. And it's really important. Like, one is Jonathan Hardesty that Bobby Chia talked to. You can go check some of those videos out with Jonathan Hardesty and Bobby Chia. Quite a few times, if he was saying, basically Bobby Chia was saying, if he takes on board what Jonathan Hardesty does with all the scheduling, he hopes to get a bit more better, because he doesn't have a lot of that kind of it's our obligations and things, which is really cool. He's bringing on board, because he's got like a lot of time he can dedicate to his illustration, but so he can illustration design, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, people without kids and without a much of a other busy life, working and all that other stuff, you really need to take on that schedule. I know it's like easier when you do have a lot of things on. If you got a lot of things on, it makes you want to, if you really want it makes you want to schedule that time in and trying to schedule what you want to achieve. When you're between a rock and a hard place, you really want to get out of there, so you just try and push it and try to create something awesome, which is something I like to bring up a lot. I'm not that big of an artist. I'm still growing, And I'm still, making a lot of mistakes, which is pretty, alright, I reckon. I'm seeing some of my mistakes in my work sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? But it's nice that I can see them. And like I say, in these videos, they're not exactly the final pieces per se. They're not pieces that I'm like, oh, here, I'm going to put them on my portfolio. But one day I really want to bring them into my portfolio. Because I feel like, I've got things that I want to do in the future. Like, I want to work a bit more on my portfolio. I want to work on, there's so much I want to do with so little time. I can only deal with so much. And that's another thing I want to have a little talk about, is taking more than you can chew, kind of a thing. You don't want to work so much that you overwork yourself. And it can be a bit of an issue, especially I've dealt with that before, and it's definitely an issue that I bring up a lot in this channel, really. I'd say that I started course, and I had a lot of time when I started course. I didn't have a partner, I didn't have a child. Obviously, I didn't have I didn't really have to do much, because I was boarding with family and stuff. So I'll get my tea cooked for me usually, and I didn't have a lot to do. I may have to do dishes, and that's about it, really. Just dishes and maybe a little bit of cleaning every now and again, but not that much, really. I didn't have a lot to do. It was mainly I could really focus on just painting and what I needed to get done. So I had a chance to build this kind of stuff up, build schedules up, and really learn what is actually better for me as well. Sometimes you might not get that chance, because some people actually do decide that they want to be artists at 30 or something, and they do that kind of stuff. But if you do get the chance, it's really great. Not everyone wants to be single, obviously, but it did give me a chance, and it was alright. It was pretty cool to be able to do that. And that would get quite I would get quite drained at times, which wasn't good. I wasn't I was always spending time illustrating from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then I get burnt out and things like that. So it wasn't, I was still testing the water at that stage. I was maybe trying to find my own schedule, kind of a thing, because I worked out that I was working at night a bit, and then in the morning I wouldn't wake up to a certain time. I worked out that the best time for me to actually work was if I wake up before 9 p.m, start doing my work 9 p.m, and then obviously stop for lunch, and then 1 o'clock or 12:30ish I'd continue painting again, and I may have a break about 3 o'clock, do some gaming or something, and then you keep going till 9 p.m. Obviously I do have breaks every now and again, 2 or 3 hours, but nowadays it's not like that. It's a bit different. That was back then. These days it's depending, well, at the moment I've got some time to do stuff, but what it'll be is I have 2 days a week to do something, and obviously there are other things that pop up, there might be birthdays, or there might be events and things that might pop up, which is something I've always got to consider, and I'll always consider them. But yeah, it's just figuring those out as well, so that means I've got a limit of about 4 hours a day from Monday to Friday, and then I've got the weekend, and that can be limited as well. So but every minute counts. so I got a limit of 4 hours a night, pretty much. For Monday to Friday, that's 4, 8, 12, 6. That's 20 hours in a week. So, you know, that's a pretty doable amount of hours that I can keep this going. But yeah, I've got other things to deal with that time, which is like editing videos and also some of my social media things. Like I've got to upload these videos, I've got to write the descriptions for these videos, I've got to organize artist interviews and things. So there's quite a bit going on in the background that does easily chew up that time. So I've got to really organize how I'm going to do these things and continue these paintings, which is going to be a bit of a fun challenge that I'm up against, you know. But you know, like I say, I'm not giving up, and that's the main key, is not to give up. Yeah, so you know, everyone, I tell you, never give up. You know, the challenges come every day at you. Whether it's that you've got to pick between doing this and doing that, or if it's just that, you know, you can't bring yourself to do things sometimes, and you know, you just gotta keep going, keep pushing forward, to get somewhere. And obviously too, if you don't put something in, you won't get anything out. So you got to think about that too. You got to put stuff in, not giving up. Yeah, and that's a hard thing to do, exactly, because a lot of people do get discouraged. I've gotten discouraged heaps of times along the way, and I still, you know, I still have those feelings of discouragement, but I don't give up. That's the main thing, and that's what it's important, you know. I mean, years ago I was worried about failing courses, and just trying to get the best scores, and you know, trying to keep in, you know, keep at and get all my work handed in. And these days I'm worried about a bit more about money, and a bit more about, you know, those kind of things. I didn't have those struggles back then. Now I'm trying to worry a little bit more money, you know, with my when I get doing my full time, won't have to worry about money too much, so I can just work on my YouTube and stuff like that. And you know, it's always been in the back burner for this channel, is to help me grow, help my art grow and get out there, to possibly like get more, well, clients and other things, to, you know, get paid for what I love to do. But you know, I'm not too worried about it that much. It's something that I really enjoy creating and doing, and I think the love of creating is quite more important as well. You know, like one of my artists did say, you know, you don't want to spend a lot of time doing something you don't like doing. You've really got to quite enjoy it. You got to enjoy the journey, not enjoy like the outcomes of it. Don't enjoy, you know, it's just an added bonus, you know. I mean, it's really nice to get paid for doing what you do, but you got to think it's not why you do it, you know. Yeah. So yeah, this book is up to page 8. So I've got like 4 pages to go, which I'm really excited to see happen. So there's not that long to go, actually, which is kind of a good thing and kind of a sad thing. But I've still got quite a little journey to go on this book. It's sad that eventually it'll come to an end, and it'll be like, oh, I quite enjoyed, you know, creating this book and just working on this book. It's going to be sad when it actually all ends. I've done all the final tweaks and everything, and it actually is an actual book. But it's also exciting for me, yeah, when I actually get this book in my hands and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did this. that will be an exciting thing as well. And you know, nothing's stopping me from creating it, and I feel like a lot of people can get discouraged in that way. You know, if they want to create a book, or if they want to create an illustration, or if they want to create a character, a lot of people are like, oh no, I can't do it. So maybe one day, and then it's like, oh, you know, and then they get busy, and it's like, oh, I don't know, I don't have the skills yet, I've got to learn the skills. So they start learning the skills, and then like 3 years pass, and you know, it gets a bit annoying. But you know, don't get discouraged. You gotta just do it. You can't be like, well, I'm not getting paid for this book, therefore I shouldn't create it. You know, I'm not worried about getting paid for this book. This is for me, this is hopefully other people enjoy it. I mean, it'll be really nice for people to actually purchase this book. I mean, if I do decide to get it like fully published and things, I'd like to get it fully published, obviously, but you know, I'm not too worried. I'm more worried about just having fun creating it, and you know, for me, sharing it with my daughter, and sharing it with other people that I know have kids that might enjoy it. Yeah, you know, I enjoy painting these details and these things that I've got here. Yeah. So about 26 minutes in, and it feels a bit longer when it's just you. But yeah, it's quite cool. I really do appreciate anyone that does come in and watch these videos, whether you watch it through Twitch or you watch it through YouTube. And it's quite cool what I've been seeing lately in my YouTube videos. Lately I've been seeing people actually watch a bit more of my YouTube videos, which is really cool. You know, people watching a bit more length of time for it. They might stay in for 10-20 minutes. I know these ones are long videos, you know, they're 45 minutes. But for me, 45 minutes to get something across is a decent amount of time. You know, it definitely, like, in 5 minutes, I've been doing these weekly videos every week. In 5 minutes, it's definitely quite a bit of a struggle for me to get something out, you know, properly, and to get all the information that I want to pack in there. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge to do it in 5 minutes. But it's also really helpful for me to do it that way. It's trying to create something enjoyable for people that just want to watch something for 5 minutes. But that was the main reason for it, and to get, you know, the knowledge I have. But it's really helpful for me because I get to break down everything that I've learnt about a topic, and try and think about it and just process it into just 5 minutes of knowledge, you know. And most of these tips are pretty simple at the moment. You know, I'm just going over erasers, and I'm going over erasing. I've got some other topics there, I think, prints and things like that. So just simple topics. I think I did a bit about yeah, using reference as well. That's another good topic. And it's interesting, I'll see a few videos pop up about, you know, using reference. And it is definitely a topic that I like to talk about. I do promote it because I think that people do, like, some people do have the wrong idea about reference sometimes, using reference. You know, especially starting out, people are like, oh, I don't want to draw that, that's copying, things like that. People have the wrong idea about it sometimes. But you know, you got to use the reference. You've got to draw what you see in order to create your own things. And you know, that's something that yeah, people really need to get into their noggin sometimes. That, you know, you've got to get knowledge from somewhere. You can't just randomly ramble shit into the air and make something awesome, you know. You've got to get, it's just like a news reporter, you know, news reporters have to get their sources from people. They have to go get information from people that know about information. If they just ramble on about random stuff that their 90-year-old grandma told them about some random person that they don't even know the name of, then no one would listen, and it wouldn't be for anyone's knowledge, really. You know, you got to get the right sources as well. You know, I use Google a bit, and you know, I just simply look through Google, but sometimes Google doesn't do it for me either. Like if there's a certain pose or a certain kind of look I'm looking for, there might be other things that I look at, like for instance I might use like DeviantArt or Pinterest or something like that, that are very helpful tools. There was one about style, you know, looking at reference with style, which is really good, because I did that back at when I did design school, looking at different artist styles and kind of copying their style in with my character, which is really good to do, to say styles and to use that as a reference of how, you know, if you draw a human, how it looks like. It just doesn't look like a blank old human drawing that looks really realistic. You could give it a little bit of appealing, like there are some character artists that might make the head a bit bigger, or the eyes a bit more rounder, or the lips a bit more you know, bigger, or something to do with the lips, you know, or they might have like that anime kind of style to it. So that's another thing for me. I'm making up my own style here, you know, children's book. I'm keeping it quite consistent. I'm not feeding off of anyone's style, but there are some styles that I've used in the past that are definitely in here, and I can see their influence. I can't remember his name. I think it's Zion or something. I'll have to look it up. Sorry guys, but it was a quite an unusual name, you know, but he had this really interesting style. I'll have to look it up and find it for you guys. I'll mention it in one of my other videos, if you keep listening to my videos. That, you know, I can definitely see his style in here that had his influence. I'll be able to probably find it for you one day and tell all you guys what my actual influences were. But yeah, his style, I copied his style, and it really played a part, and I think it's helped to develop. But I'm not looking at the style. The styles kind of come from me studying a bit of style and a bit of character art and just my own personal taste and things. You know, I'm going for as realistic as I can, but also I'm going for something that's, you know, not has a flair to it that kids can relate to. They won't be so. They would enjoy the book and the overall feel of each picture and each text and illustration, how that works when I find that solution. Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been great to do this YouTube journey. It's been probably 4 or 5 months that I've done it full time, like once a week, and now doing it twice a week. It's interesting to do as well. And I've also done my thumbnails each week, which is another process. You know, I've got to do the thumbnail each week. I've decided on a name of that video, and the thumbnail, how it's gonna look, is usually just the same kind of style as each thumbnail, so that it's consistent on my video. And you know, you can see where I've kind of started with that. Um, well, I went back and did them all. So you can see where I kind of started, to do all the thumbnails. I decided that's when I kind of started per se. That's when I kind of that's when I kind of knew YouTube was a bit more for me than just creating videos now, because I've had a few years of just experimenting using just DeviantArt and ArtStation, different social medias and things, and Instagram and Twitch and YouTube, and trying different things as well, like Lego animation, a little bit of animation in there, and character design, book design, things like that. I've done the whole works basically, 3D, all sorts of stuff. And I do like illustration, and it's really awesome. But it does have that, you are just illustrating. Sometimes you can post it to places, but it doesn't get a lot of response and things. Or it can get a bit of response sometimes, if you post something, it gets a lot of response and you're really happy about it, or you can just post your updates every now and again. But with YouTube, for me, it's awesome to have these great artists in. It's awesome to do different kind of videos. It was kind of the social media for me. It was my choice to keep on with this YouTube stuff, and it's something I like doing. I like to say a bit more about what I'm creating, and find out a bit more information in the process as well. I get to talk to some awesome artists out there. I talked to Keddy Lee, which I was a big fan, because he did some work for the Reignited Spyro trilogy. And it was just awesome just to hear how he got onto that. That gives me a little bit more confidence that people can get hired from opportunities. Sometimes one thing leads to another, because he worked in studio. Some of the studios knew him, so his name was kind of well known, which was interesting. For me, I haven't worked with any studios, so I don't really know my name. But yeah, it's just a bit more than just creating on my computer or just creating a painting. For me, YouTubers, I can give my opinion. I can talk over. I could have done just music in the background, but I like to say a bit more and do a bit more. Yeah, so I don't have a lot more to say other than thanks for checking out my YouTube videos in this channel. Hopefully shortly, in the next couple of weeks to couple of months, I'm not too sure what my plan is, but I'm looking at possibly making a new trailer video, or just a new way to kind of help this channel. I really do enjoy all the comments you guys are leaving. I'm getting 2 regular comments, and then I'm getting some random people every now and again come and comment, which is really awesome, either through artists that I do interview, they know them, or just random people that might have popped into my video somehow. It's great to do, and that's what I enjoy about posting to YouTube. And I'm a small video creator. I don't have a big number of followers. 200. That's a fair bit. But again, a lot of those either just followers. They're just subscribing to me. I don't know what for. But a few of them are quite good, which is really awesome. Welcome to the community. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's really good to have those people, and yeah, and I do like to interact as well. So sometimes in usually my weekly videos, I do invite you to give your opinion on any of the topics I talk about, usually that topic that I talked about, and just my opinion. Yeah, I've just shown you my portfolio at the moment, really. Yeah, so thank you for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, we should have a couple more artists in, hopefully. It'll be awesome to get some cool artists, but I will see who's coming in the next few weeks. It will be a bit hectic in the next few weeks, but I'll still keep on these weekly videos. I'll keep them going. I will find my way to keep doing them. And I know it's just been me today, and hopefully you still enjoyed it. Yeah, and you learnt something. Let me know down in the comments if you had any feedback or just anything you'd like to agree or disagree on about what I said. Yeah, I just really appreciate any comments and feedback you get from these videos. So thanks for checking these videos out. Please do go check out all those other interviews I did have. They're really awesome. They have some really awesome knowledge in there. So yeah, thanks for coming in. Have a good one. Goodbye.